Hi, this is Kurt Barone, and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
So now let's start with the FDNY in New York City. Obviously, we have the city who won a lawsuit. Now there's an appeal filed, but I'm sure they'll be successful there too. But the FDNY firefighter who has a history of lawsuits, right here, and I think you refer back to them. He claims he was sexually assaulted, racially discriminated when he was assigned to his first firehouse after the fire academy, and you know, the city, again, is just victorious. But isn't this, I think this is like the second or third suit that he has lost.
It's second that he's lost. He's got a couple of other pending. I believe I've got 4 cases with him. He's got 2 in state court, which you may have access to. My service with Lexus doesn't give me that access, but he's got 2 in state court. 1 recently filed. He put in for disability pension. Apparently that was denied, and so he's suing the city to get a disability pension. And then there's another one where he sued some of his co-workers. So total of 4 lawsuits. And
as opposed to the other 2, which we're going to jump to, but you know, this doesn't have to me a systemic issue of anything, right? The other 2 we're going to talk about are more systemic problems. This is just, I don't even know what to say because
I'll tell you, I think if the allegations are true, then there's a pretty serious problem. I think that's where we get to the factual part of it, and that's the part that we can comment the least on, because we just don't know. I've spoken to some people that say this is totally bogus, totally false, never happened. Who knows? But maybe it did, and if it did, there's a problem that needs to stop. And I think anybody who reads, if you read what the allegations are, I don't want to get into them here, but if you read what the allegations are, they're not acceptable. Absolutely, positively inappropriate, not acceptable under any circumstances. So question becomes, did they actually happen? And right. And if they did, and
I think the reason, us reviewing these discrimination cases is, we'll jump to Iowa in a second, but the reason, and really kind of slow down our analysis here, is we want our viewers, especially the chiefs, the higher ups, if you are watching this and you say, boy, that sounds like our department, I mean, you really got to be looking to see whether there's systemic issues of whether racism, sexism, harassment, discrimination, whatever. And you've got to really take a hard look, because if you don't, you're going to be on our show soon, right? As a defendant.
Brad, let me add one thing here. And this is like our good friend Billy Goldfeder does with line of duty deaths. Okay. When you have a line of duty death or even a close call, what we want to do is we want to dissect what factors contributed to that line of duty death, or what led to this close call. And if we can identify them, maybe recognize that our department is doing some of those things, we can get that to stop. Okay. We're applying the same methodology here, but we're looking at litigation. And I think that it's the appropriate way of doing it. And we're certainly not trying to embarrass people or second guess decisions, but by looking at it this way, what we're trying to do is help other fire departments prevent this type of lawsuit or problem from occurring in their own department.
Right. And look, none of this may be true, right? It is certainly, it's the 2 we're going to get to, right, are just lawsuits, but they're damning enough. And these 2 are such good examples of where you don't want to be, because it's not one allegation that somebody made a comment, right? Here, like as we switch to Iowa, you're going to see so many allegations, and it's not one incident. And so you've got to, when you start layering on the bricks and building this wall, or, this case of discrimination allegations, you start realizing, wow, that's a lot of different incidents. Maybe this really is true. So you start looking guilty to your community. And look, nobody wants to call a fire department that appears racist or sexist or harassing, right? So this is a public safety issue. Very much like when the African-American community says, boy, we have police who are racist or whatever, they don't want to call the police or they don't trust the police. This is the same thing. I won't get off this topic, but when you talk about posting symbols of hate, when you allow your firefighters to make racist comments, all of a sudden your department is perceived in a certain way and it affects public safety because people don't want to call you. So this stuff does matter. If you can't solve it internally, think of it from the community perspective. And when these lawsuits hit, and you cite right to the news stories, these are all over the place, right? You're not hiding this.